This is the month that apparently we are getting the announcement of the brand new Warhammer 40,000 edition, 11th edition. The rumors are saying we're going back to Armageddon. So in this video, I want to explore what current Space Marine chapters are on the planet of Armageddon and how potentially that could affect the narrative story that we're about to get for that new edition. So let's jump in, let's look at what units are there, and of course, let's get waffling. So let's start with the two big chapters that are currently deployed in Armageddon, and these numbers are from the last campaign book that we got that featured Armageddon, and it was all about the Blood Crusade where they fought against Angron, the World Eaters, and the influence of the demonic Khorne entities on that planet. So the first chapter is, of course, the Space Wolves. And if you put your eyes to the background right now, we can actually go through what the Space Wolves deployed with on the planet of Armageddon. So Chapter Master Logan Grimnar was one of the main characters there. High Rune Priest Nidge the Stormcaller, as I like to call him, was there. Battle Leader Stryborn Flint Eye was there. 21 Battle Brothers of Logan Grimnar's Wolfguard was also there. 83 Battle Brothers, 14 supporting armored vehicles deployed there. The Black Mains, Battle Leader Sigvi Bearheart, 4 Battle Brothers of Ragnar Blackmane's Wolfguard. 15 Battle Brothers were also there. 2 supporting armored vehicles. The Death Wolves, 3 Battle Brothers from Harrod's Death Wolves Wolfguard, along with 10 Battle Brothers. And of course, they brought a fleet as well. The All-Father's Honor Battle Barge, 3 Gladius class frigates, 2 Nova class frigates, and 4 Hunter class destroyers. That's what the Space Wolves brought to Armageddon for that Blood Crusade. But of course, they would have taken losses. So not everything that is listed there is currently still alive. They probably should have lost maybe a quarter, maybe some say half of what they have there. But you get the idea of what is remaining with the Space Wolves kind of on that planet. They still have a big influence. They still have some big troops. They still have some big names. Logan Grimnar, probably one of the most battle-worn, tested commanders of the Imperium, is currently still on Armageddon according to the lore. Now, on top of the Space Wolves, another chapter deployed in strength to Armageddon, and that is, of course, the Black Templars. And again, just like the Space Wolves, eyes in the background, we can actually see what they brought to the planet to fight against Angron and his forces. So this was labeled as Helbrecht's Crusade. High Marshal Helbrecht, of course, deployed again back to Armageddon. Castellan Holzer deployed. Chaplain Prost deployed. Chaplain Gorin deployed. Apothecary Muller deployed. 56 Sword Brothers deployed. 123 Battle Brothers followed them. 84 Neophyte Squires. 53 supporting armored vehicles, fleet assets, the Eternal Crusader, so we've got a Gloriana-class battleship that is currently serving at Armageddon, 7 Gladiator-class frigates, and 15 Hunter-class destroyers. Now, something that's not mentioned there, which is mentioned in the Armageddon book, is that Chaplain Grimaldis also deployed. So Chaplain Grimaldis is also deployed at Armageddon right now. He fought in this temple. He rallied the troops as Grimaldis does. So again, you've got some big characters there. Helbrecht is there. Helbrecht is known as one of the greatest military commanders when it comes to Voidcraft. So you've got one of the greatest commanders basically on foot, and one of the greatest commanders who can control the fleet above, currently still on Armageddon according to the lore. Again, you've got big characters like Chaplain Grimaldis also there. So already you've got these two big chapters that are still on the planet. Again, not most of these Battle Brothers are still going to be alive. Most of them probably would have been slaughtered. They're probably at a fraction of their strength, but they're still present on Armageddon. And on top of those Adeptus Astartes chapters, there was actually other chapters that deployed as well, not in full force like the Black Templars or the Space Wolves, but maybe like a company here, a company there. Again, if you want to put your eyes in the background, we can go through all this. This is listed as additional Astartes forces, and as it states here, it must be noted that the following order of battle is far from an executive list of Adeptus Astartes assets present on Armageddon at the outbreak of the fighting. Of scattered reports claims this presence of elements from other chapters. The veracity of these reports have been impossible to verify, following the records are based only upon verifiable eyewitness accounts. All unreliable data has been expunged from record. So again, it's like, are they there? Are they not there? Just like 40k does. It's all a kind of a mystery. But you can see the chapter elements. So Strike Force Garon. So apparently there's some Raptors there. Again, maybe it's one company, maybe it's two companies, maybe it's just a squad of Raptors. Combat Unit Kemenor, so Sons of the Phoenix, they're also deployed there. Strike Force Dekar, Hammers of Dawn, which are one of my favourite Daunian gene lineages, so hopefully they are there. Strike Force Vangelo, so the Mortifactors are there. Strike Force Vulcal, so the Salamanders are apparently there. And Strike Force Domino, the Silver Skulls, are also there. So again, you've got other chapters, the Raptors, the Sons of Phoenix, the Hammers of Dawn, Mortifactors, and the Salamanders and the Silver Skulls fighting alongside the Black Templars and, of course, the Space Wolves during that Blood Crusade. Again, I have to make a note that all of these chapters that deployed, they're probably still not at full strength. They probably would have lost a few of their battle brothers fighting against Angron and his forces. But if they still remain on the planet, that's still a sizable Adeptus Astartes force that is still available on this planet. And that's not to add another chapter that's about to turn up, because according to the rumors, according to the lore, it's going to be the Blood Angels that are fighting against the Orks and Armageddon. They're going to be the center stage. So it seems the Blood Angels are also going to turn up on Armageddon. So it means that you've got like the Black Templars, the Space Wolves, the Blood Angels, and all those other chapters. So there's going to be a sizable force of Adeptus Astartes on that planet. Is that going to make a difference against the Orks? Hopefully so, but the Orks are coming at probably the head of one of the biggest wars we've ever witnessed in the galaxy. Gazskull has just been making more and more and more green wars, more boys, more Dakar, anything you can think of. If I'm not mistaken, Gazskull has probably the biggest fleet in the galaxy at this moment in time. And all the hints, all the rumors that he's going back to Armageddon. So even though we've got these chapters on the planet, I personally think it's still not enough, and they are going to be really pushed back to the wall to fight against this new green tide that's about to hit the planet. So the situation that we have now is that we do have these Adeptus Astartes, the ones who have probably still survived, the ones who still have recruits. Maybe some of these chapters, again, have left the planet to go back on a recruitment spree, to rearm themselves, to re-ready themselves for the next big battle. But Armageddon still has a big presence of Adeptus Astartes. Now, when it comes to the planet, what is going to happen? This is the big talking point. Well, is the Imperium really going to lose Armageddon? I've always stood on this point and said, I think the Orks should retake Armageddon. I think that would be a big blow for the Imperium. I think that would open the story up, open the narrative up to Warhammer 40,000, because what you have then is the Orks literally on the doorstep of terror making their empire again. Because for those people who don't know, Armageddon is not really called Armageddon. Armageddon has been renamed. Its original name was Ullanor. This is what happened during the Beast That Rises series. Armageddon was Ullanor, and the Admech, with some technology that they had, transported that planet nearer to Terra. And the Orks, of course, they've been driven back to that planet. It's like an ancestral home to them, right? Like, they just want to get back there, and they just want to conquer their planet. That is their terror. So this is why I think the Orks are so driven to reconquer that planet. Maybe there's some hidden Ork tech deep down in the core of the planet for the generations, multiple generations, that they were just, you know, building their empire from that planet. So maybe that's why the Orks want to retake it. I think whatever happens, well, I'm hoping anyway, fingers crossed, we do get great stories from this. I love fighting against Orks. I love purging against Orks. I can't wait to see Gaz Skull again. Gaz Skull is getting new novels, right? There's going to be more stuff around this. I just hope it turns into something absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic, and we can have some epic battles. Again, some of the main characters that are on there, Logan, Helbrecht, Grimaldis, surely they're going to give us some epic narrative battles, epic stories within the lore. Maybe not, maybe so. I'm just hoping out that it is gonna be bloody amazing. Anyway, I just wanted to share this video with you. People have been asking who's currently serving an Armageddon with the Space Marines. This is the information that I have for you right now. One thing I didn't mention, the Grey Knights were also serving there, but that's all been redacted. And if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong, the Grey Knights did leave after Angron was banished on Armageddon. They just disappeared and vanished. So the Grey Knights are no longer there. So I don't think they're going to be taking part in fighting against the Orks. If anything, I don't think they'd want to take part in fighting against the Orks anyway, because they've got bigger things to deal with all the demonic incursions happening across the galaxy. Do you really want the Grey Knights around as well? They're probably going to steal your initiates because they're a bunch of bloody thieves. Anyway, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, any ideas, any more speculation, have I missed any chapters out? Has it mentioned any more chapters anywhere in the text that I've missed? Post it down below. I'm having a nice little chin wag down there, as we always do. See ya. Have a great day, and bye-bye.